Hey folks, welcome to another edition of...
Studio Show Notes.
That's right. We invite you into our studio. We talk about some things that interest us. Maybe we saw it on the news. Maybe it has to do with an old podcast. Maybe we offer some corrections, or it's just sort of a free-for-all.
Maybe.
So this week, we start with something... we did a podcast on prisons.
Not as fun as you'd think.
Yeah, and this isn't quite prison, because the difference between prison and jail, as we all know, is that jail is a temporary situation.
Yeah.
In prison, you're going to be there a little longer.
Right. This guy, there was a dude at the Cook County Jail.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is where, I guess, Jake and the Blues Brothers.
Jake and Elwood.
Yeah, where Jake and Elwood would have ended up
Yeah.
after their high-speed chase before going to Joliet, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
The Cook County Jail. This guy was there, a middle-aged man. He's not identified in the Chicago Tribune article, but he was visiting his son, who's been in there a little while, awaiting trial.
Yeah.
For like a drug possession thing.
Yeah.
And he got locked in a room for 31 hours.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
How creepy is that?
31 hours. This man was locked in it was a visitation room, but it was a very infrequently used visitation room, the Supermax visitation room, basically.
Yeah, so that's where they would put the worst of the worst criminals to visit whoever comes to visit those people.
Right.
I'm glad they get guests. I'm not disparaging that.
Sure.
But apparently it's got a big concrete door, and he kind of just went in and like, what's in here? And the door shut.
Well, he was directed a certain
He
way.
said stay to the right.
And the door was propped open.
Right. He said,
It was a
in here?
visitation room, yeah.
Yeah.
And he went in, and somehow the door went shut behind him.
Yeah, and I'm surprised there was no one around, or it just seems odd that he would be trapped for that long.
It was a Friday at 6 p.m.
Okay.
This room is very infrequently used.
You know what you call that? Quitting time.
Right, exactly. The room's not very frequently used because they don't have that many Supermax prisoners in this jail.
Yeah.
That's two things. And then the third one is they'd never have visitation for those prisoners on weekends, so there's no reason to check it. The thing is, it was under construction, ironically, because they were putting in new security cameras. They hadn't reached that point, but that's why the door was propped open. The contractors left this door wide open in the jail.
Well, the spokesman from the jail called it a perfect storm of circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in there for 30 hours before he finally decided to take matters into his own hands and bust a sprinkler to alert the fire department.
Literally with his own hands. He had to go get stitches after they found him. The fire department came right there.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, dude.
Really?
Yeah. So they took him and got stitches on his little hands.
His son, by the way, has been in there for 13 months, so that's more than a drug possession charge.
Well, it had something to do with drugs.
No, it was drugs, but if he's been in the pokey for 13 months awaiting trial, then he must be a player of some sort.
I guess you're right. Hopefully. It's not necessarily true, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Our justice system is not necessarily just in all cases.
So let me ask you, Josh, let me posit this question. How long would you have to be trapped in the Hooskow as a guest visitor before you would break the sprinkler?
Well, I would have done what the guy did. Like, he
30
pounded
hours?
on the door.
Okay.
It's apparently a concrete door, and
Sure.
no one was nearby. I don't think 30 hours. Because, number one, surely that guy had to pee at some point over the 30 hours. So is he just peeing in the corner or something?
He's like in solitary confinement, basically.
Right. There's like 3 stools and 3 partitions.
There may have been more than one stool at the end of it.
Yeah. There may have been 4 at least. So, yeah, once I really had to pee, if it was like peeing in the corner or breaking the sprinkler, I would definitely break the sprinkler.
Yeah.
I wonder if like it took him 30 hours to think like this is a good way to get attention.
Oh, maybe.
Because I don't know that I would have immediately come up with the sprinkler either.
Yeah.
Although I can guess being trapped for 30 hours in a single room with nobody coming to help you really kind of focuses the mind on your surroundings. So
yeah, plus I don't know if I would know that breaking a sprinkler would do anything. Like my first thought would probably be to hold a lighter under it.
Yeah.
But if you're stuck in there without, he probably didn't have a lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done. I would have gone insane.
Well, hats off to this man. He was pretty smart and resourceful.
Yep.
Even if it was 30 hours later, he thought to break the sprinkler and they came right to him. So I'm sure he wished he would have done that in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
And now he's probably going to sue the pants off the Cook County Jail.
They said he was very gracious, but yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean No suey.
He's gracious until Lionel Hutz gives him a call.
So that's that.
Yeah, what else do we have this week?
We're talking about...
Oh, yeah.
We had a bet, an on-air bet.
Uh-huh.
That was settled to my satisfaction.
Well, we didn't really bet anything.
We had a disagreement.
A debate.
Sure.
On how much to water your lawn. And I knew it. You can probably hear it in my voice. I clearly knew at the time that you were wrong.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to be nice. But
you weren't being that nice. You said, "Oh, I guess we can tell who lives in the condo."
Yeah, I guess it wasn't super nice, was it? Well, let's just recap though. Can we play a clip from it? Just put a little cup out there, turn your sprinkler on, and when that cup has an inch of water in it, you're all set.
I don't know if that's right.
No, that's exactly right.
No, because think about it. That cup's going to fill up. So that's the clip.
Yeah. And I see what you were initially going for with why the cup might not make more sense. Because you said it doesn't have holes, so it would just fill up super fast.
Somebody also pointed out it would depend on the size of the cup, wouldn't it? How fast it filled up to an inch.
Yeah, sure.
Someone else said, well, no, a smaller diameter cup is going to take longer to fill up.
Oh, well, that's true, too.
Less stuff will get into it.
Yeah.
My brain wants to pop. But we did hear from some professional turf pros.
Yeah, turf pros.
Yeah. You don't have to say professional twice, apparently.
They recommended tuna can, which I thought I'd never heard of, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, I guess it's about an inch.
Yeah.
But they said, yes, definitely. You want to put a can out once that fills up. You don't want to put you don't want to keep watering until there's an inch of water above your grass. I was wrong.
Yeah, and if your yard is graded properly, that's nearly impossible to do anyway.
Yeah,
because it's probably going to run off.
Yeah, that's
mine
a good
is
point.
not though, and I have had an inch of standing water in my yard after accidentally leaving the hose on overnight.
Wow.
I came out to a nice little lake scene.
And it started growing like crazy, right?
It was great. It was gangbusters.
So that's a correction, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, and a rare debate on air. You know, we usually agree on everything.
Across the board.
Right?
Yeah.
Like where you want to go eat right now?
Let's get some sushi.
Perfect. That's what I want. See you there.
We're going to go get some sushi.
That's right.
And we'll see you next time. In the meantime, go to stuffyoushouldknow.com. You'll love it. Everything's there. Thanks for joining us on Studio Show Notes.